It's aggression bordering on violence. Former Buckeye linebacker Andrew Sweat would know. Football's violent collisions take their toll.
For the Purdue game the Wednesday, I got hit. I just thought I was dinged, but it was really a concussion. I just didn't know. And I went out in the game and played and got hit just a little bit, and the second concussion came and I could barely walk off the field. The next week, just watching that, it's definitely scary.
Sweat opted to end his football career because of concussions. The Centers for Disease Control estimates as many as 3.8 million sports-related concussions are diagnosed in the United States each year. Even in high school, high-impact collisions happen every snap, and coaches have been forced to adapt.
I think we've gotten much smarter, much more informed over the years. You know, in the old days, as I call them, you know, the coach was a trainer.
The National Federation of High Schools estimates 1.1 million high school players suit up each year across the nation. A recent study of head trauma suffered in high school football suggests that more than 67,000 concussions are diagnosed each season. The most common concussion symptoms include an altered state of consciousness, drowsiness, confusion and memory loss, headaches, and nausea. And it's important to note that most people who suffer a concussion do not lose consciousness or black out.
Concussions can occur with any level of force at the brain at any sort of vulnerable time or position, so they're hard to prevent.
Olentangy High School head athletic trainer Philip Frank knows firsthand the impact of concussions. He suffered one on the final play of his senior football season.
The kids are going to know how they're feeling. We cannot stop after every play, check everybody, look everybody in the eyes, have a conversation with everybody.
Frank uses an online baseline testing system called Impact. It's a series of questions each athlete must answer before their season begins. Then after suffering a head injury, that same athlete answers the same questions to see if their answers match up. Frank also suggests that parents can identify symptoms better than trainers or computers in many cases.
If you're noticing things that aren't quite right, they're not as lively as they used to be, they're not as talkative, all they want to do is just go sleep in a dark room because the lights and noise are hurting them. Ask a little bit more about that. Say, hey, what's going on? What happened during the game?
Concussion action may soon become state law. The Ohio Athletic Trainers Association endorsed House Bill 143, which passed the House this year. It requires secondary and youth sports organizations to enforce student athletes being medically cleared following a head injury before returning to competition. Dr. Jason DePore from Ohio Health served on the advisory committee for the bill. He says the risk of re-injury remains paramount.
The second head injury can be much more severe than the first or lead to longer lasting symptoms or disability. Think of your brain like a block of Legos. That first concussion kind of took some Legos off and your brain's trying to figure out how to put itself back together. As it's putting itself back together, it's more vulnerable. So if you have a second hit to that brain, then it takes longer to put itself back together, longer healing time.
As athletes have grown stronger and faster, concussions have become a standard result of many sports, not just football. Doctors say while concussions can happen to the best of athletes, it is possible to reduce risk.
A properly fitting helmet, being in the best shape of your life, getting sound nutrition, staying well hydrated, good neck and upper body strength, and great field awareness will help protect you on the field.
When in doubt, sit them out. Yes. It's not worth the risk.
I would definitely push my son to play football. I love the game. It's been great to me. I just had to make a decision with my family that I thought was best for me.